From the High Definition Production Center of Troy University's Broadcast and Digital Network and Troy campuses around the world, this is Troy TrojanVision News.
Hello and welcome to Troy TrojanVision News for January 30th, 2015. I'm Sarah Singletary.
And I'm Jordan Nelson. Thank you for joining us this evening. Troy University's Miss Elite Society is an organization designed to help female students become more valuable members of society. Last night, the group held a milestone event welcoming a well-known Troy alum. Victoria Bailey has the story.
The Troy University Miss Elite organization held its very first pinning ceremony Thursday night. The young ladies were pinned in honor of their many contributions to the club throughout the year, and one member tells us what being pinned meant to her.
Oh my gosh, it was a complete honor to be a part of this organization that gives back to the community and just everything in general. I was just so honored, and I feel like this is just such a great endeavor for me to just keep on going.
The pinning ceremony had several guests in attendance, including the keynote speaker, WSFA's Tanya Terry, who delivered a message of inspiration to the girls. And once she was finished speaking, the Miss Elite organization inducted her as an honorary member. And she tells us what that meant to her.
I'm so excited. First of all, it's purple, which is my favorite color. But when I look at these young ladies and I see what they represent on campus, the leadership, the sisterhood, the grades and the wherewithal that they have, that they're all so put together. I don't remember being this put together in college. But when I see what they represent and knowing that they wanted me to be a part of that, I'm so honored. I'm just elated. I was not expecting it, and it was a fantastic way to end my speech. That was awesome.
And for students looking to get involved?
Well, we do have a lot of opportunities for other people on campus, specifically young ladies looking to better themselves. We do several community service activities. We also host several events and forums for other women to speak. So I would hope that they would check the Trojan today and check our events, and they'll be able to join and participate from there.
Victoria Bailey, Troy TrojanVision News.
Miss Elite Society will begin taking new members in the fall 2015 semester.
Storytelling is often associated with childhood bedtime stories, but this weekend the Pike Peddlers are proving that stories can be told even when you aren't falling asleep. Troy University students, faculty, and staff were given a sneak peek of the Pike Peddlers Storytelling Festival Friday morning. Featured storyteller Barbara McBride-Smith shared tales of Greek mythology with a modern-day twist. McBride-Smith shares with us why she chose to perform this story.
I'd like them to know that the ancient stories themselves are still very relevant to our world today, that those stories keep on happening over and over and over again. And the movies don't always get it right. And I may not always get it right either, but I want the kids to see another version of the story.
Storytelling is often seen as a dying art form. However, McBride-Smith says she uses storytelling to bridge the gap between her childhood and students today.
It takes me back in time to the people and the places that were important to me growing up, but it also connects me with the future, with kids I see today who think that the easiest, best form of communication is, a few characters on a screen, a few words in a text message. Still, I want them to know that face-to-face communication is so important.
If you missed Friday's preview performance, you still have a chance to catch the Pike Peddler Storytellers on Saturday. Saturday's festival will include more performers as well as stories chosen to meet the needs of the audience.
Tomorrow's event, I think, is going to be, my stories will be different tomorrow than they are today, for example. When I'm telling stories where I know I've got a mixed audience, where I've got a lot of people in that audience who are, senior citizens, as well as young high school kids, I tell more personal stories that come out of my own historical past, as a way for kids, I hope, to connect with their parents and their grandparents.
Pike Peddler Storytelling Festival begins Saturday at 10 a.m. in the Trojan Center Theater.
A star for the hit CBS show CSI New York will be featured as the keynote speaker at this year's leadership conference honoring African American history. Actor and author Hill Harper will speak at the opening ceremonies of the conference next Friday night in Sartain Hall. Anyone who wishes to attend the conference will need to register by the end of the day today. Organizers says that Organizers say that even though the conference sees people from all over the Southeast attend, Troy students can participate at a reduced price.
We have a wide variety and wide range of individuals who come to the conference from Georgia, from Florida, from North Alabama, and also South Alabama, as long as with the surrounding counties of Troy and Pike County. One thing that we do offer, it is for adults and students. We have a great price for students, with the only cost of being $15 for students, and for our adult registration, the cost is $30.
To register, you can visit www.troy.edu/leadership-conference. Registration for the conference ends this Friday. The conference will open with Harper's keynote address Friday, February 6th at 6:30 p.m. in Sartain Hall.
And now taking a look at news from around the state. Thousands of additional Alabama residents are signing up for health insurance through the online exchange created by the Federal Affordable Care Act. Nearly 138,000 people in Alabama have signed up since the latest enrollment period opened in November.
Alabama authorities say a tractor trailer crashed on Interstate 20 because the driver lost control while he was pulling one of his teeth. The Alabama Highway Patrol says the 57-year-old truck driver told troopers he had taken his hands off the wheel to pull the loose tooth when he wrecked near Tuscaloosa late Sunday. The single vehicle crash shut down a stretch of interstate for about 11 hours until a single lane reopened Monday morning.
Alabama House Speaker Mike Hubbard will go on trial in October on ethics charges. Prosecutors and defense lawyers agreed on an October 19th trial date for the high-profile case during a scheduling conference today in Opelika.
Still to come on Troy TrojanVision News, the women's basketball team took on the ULM Warhawks at home. Find out how they did when Amy Austin joins us in sports.
And one Texas restaurant is giving juvenile offenders a second chance. More on that after the break.
A Texas restaurant is serving up gourmet food and life lessons. I'm Omar Villafranca in Dallas with that story coming up.
Mom, can we get some ice cream? Please, Mom, please.
No, we're having dinner soon.
Please.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of children in foster care who will take you just as you are.
The warrior spirit, it's in there. Always has been. Now let it out and take the world by fire. Train well and learn what it means to be a Troy Trojan. Walk with confidence, conquer, claim territory, and climb ladders. Know that you have the power to stand alone, but the comfort of knowing that you'll never have to. Discover your inner warrior. Find it at troy.edu/spirit.
Now, the latest in Trojan sports on Troy TrojanVision News.
After taking on the number 1 and number 2 teams in the conference, the women's basketball team returned home to host the ULM Warhawks to try to gain a victory. The Trojans are back in the win column after a huge victory over ULM. The women's basketball team defeated the Warhawks 90-51.
It was truly a great win in Trojan Arena tonight against a very good Monroe team that we almost fell to at their place. The difference in tonight's game was the players' intensity and the amount of pressure they applied to them. Monroe actually had a lot of advantages over us when we played there. Their post player was very good against us, and us being without our starting post player, Bree Lancaster, we knew we had to do something different. So our objective was to try not to let them get it down on their end of the court.
The Trojans forced 39 turnovers throughout the game. 27 of those turnovers were in the first half, and head coach Chanda Rigby said that was the game plan for her team.
We forced quite a few turnovers, 39, and that's a lot for this team, and I'm proud of the team. It was a good game plan, and it was executed very well by the team.
After the run of 5 games in 10 days, the break was welcomed by the team, and Rigby said that was what gave her players an extra boost of energy.
I don't know if they felt it, but I felt like a different person tonight. I felt so good walking in that locker room because it seemed like night after night after night last week, we just kept being so tired and having to make ourselves get up. And tonight it was just natural. We had a pep in our step.
And Rigby said the only thing her team needed to improve on was rebounding. ULM out-rebounded the Trojans 48-45.
The only negative I can say really is that they did out-rebound us by a little. That shouldn't happen, but there weren't many rebounds to get on our end, but they did out-rebound us.
Amy Austin, The Trojans hit the road to take on UT Arlington on Saturday at 5. And fans of Trojan men's basketball got some bonus action last night, but the overtime period was not kind to the Trojans. Jalen Bivens has the results.
The men's basketball team's second half woes continued. The Trojans took on the ULM Warhawks and led heading into halftime, but the Warhawks defeated Troy in overtime 58-55.
I didn't think we could, after Saturday, I didn't think we could get a tougher loss, but we trumped it tonight. To have that big lead in the second half again and to let them come back, and then even in overtime to be down 6 and not give up and tie it up and have a chance to win it, it's just very frustrating.
Troy Trojans tied up the game 50-50 to head into overtime, but when Troy took to the free throw line, they were unable to make the shots and it cost them the game.
Free throw line. When you lose in overtime and you go 8 for 16 from the free throw line, that's what costs us.
This game marked the 5th game in a row that the Trojans have lost by less than 10 points, and head coach Phil Cunningham said it is frustrating for his team.
So close, and that's the last thing anybody wants to hear. It's the last thing those guys want to hear. It's the last thing I want to hear. But we're close. It's not like we're getting blown out by anybody. We're close. We're playing good teams. We're playing well enough to win, but we're just not finishing. And we can't let losing become a habit.
And even though through the tough loss, Cunningham said that his team hasn't given up and is still striving for a victory.
It's a combination, and we really tried to put an onus on them tonight to really stay together the second half, and I thought we did so for the most part. And then, when they made that run, they started hitting all those threes on us and got back in the game. I thought we dropped our heads, but then we picked it up.
Jalen Bivens, Troy Trojan, Vision Sports.
The men will take on UT Arlington in Arlington, Texas on Saturday at 7:15. With an 0-2 start to the season, the women's tennis team will head to Montgomery to try to get their first win of the season. Troy will take on Alabama State over the weekend. The Trojans have competed at Stetson and UCF and came away with 2 tough losses, both 3-4. However, the men's team hopes to continue their conference success after defeating UT Arlington 4-0 in their Sun Belt opener. The men will travel to Atlanta to take on Georgia State on Saturday for their second straight Sun Belt match. And with both baseball and softball season just around the corner, the 2 teams will be hosting Fan Day this weekend to allow fans the opportunity to meet the teams, get autographs, and pictures. Fan Day will be held at Riddle Pace Field, but will allow both teams to showcase their individuals. And softball head coach Beth Mullins is hopeful that fans will come out and support the 2 teams.
Saturday at Riddle Pace baseball field, we're going to 11-1 sign autographs. We've got our posters coming out. Us in baseball will introduce the team. Would love for the fans to come out and just meet our great kids.
Fan Day will be from 11 until 1 at Riddle Pace Field.